What's up, everybody? My name is Kraken7down, and this is going to be a kind of a different video. This is going to be a first impressions video, or as I like to call it, an average Joe review of the new Star Wars Battlefront II beta that's out. Just dropped here on the 6th of October and is currently going on, and I've played a decent amount of it over the last couple of nights. I really wanted to see how this game was and how it may have differed from the previous game. But what I'm going to do here is just give you a quick first impressions, like I already said. Blanket statement, everything is as of right now, or what the beta is offering. Something I want you to know, as of the making of this video, the beta is out, and my review is based on what the game is like as of now. So I wanted to get that out of the way, and lastly, this is not by any stretch of the imagination a professional review. This is an average guy wanting to test out this new game that kind of looks really cool and seeing how it was. So let's get into it. We're going to start with what I like to call the fun factor. Yeah, I know it sounds cheesy, but just hear me out on this, okay? What this is going to be is just how much did I actually like the game? How much fun did I actually have? Now, I'll tell you right off the bat that this game is actually really fun. Big surprise, right? I had a blast playing it, and I'm still having a blast playing the beta right now. It's only going to be open for a couple more days. However, I'm going to try to take as much time and play it as I possibly can, because I'm just having a lot of fun. Now, a couple of things I just wrote down here that I wanted to pick out of the actual gameplay itself. Not necessarily the game design, but I wanted to pick up some of the things that the game does that kind of makes it Battlefront what Battlefront is. I'm talking about this iteration of Battlefront at least. The first one I want to make is it's kind of challenging. It's not super easy. You just don't run up and start blasting everything away. I mean, not that you just do that in Call of Duty, but you can kind of do that in Call of Duty versus being able to do that here, where it's a little challenging, at least for the casual gamer. It is challenging yet rewarding. You get points for at least trying to act like a team player. Yeah, you're probably going to get killed a few times. You're probably not going to have a 25-0 record, at least when you're starting out. But whenever you're playing this game, when you're trying to play like a team, you're running along with your teammates, you're trying to play the objective. At least in the objective modes that I've been playing, you get rewarded for it, and then eventually you can build up and get something pretty cool, like a jetpack trooper, or you can end up getting a hero or a cool starfighter that you couldn't get before. It's just really interesting how they laid out the point system here, the battle point system, so that you can actually go in there, not be that great, but get something cool, even though you're not the best player out there, but you're not just being rewarded for being bad. You're being rewarded for at least trying and getting some points there to build up towards something that's really cool. Next point I want to make is about the classes. The classes are just awesome. The classes, I know I'm kind of geeking out right now, but the classes are a lot of fun. I personally love the heavy class, or whatever they call it there, the best. The heavy class just, it fits the way I play, I guess, the best. Yet I find myself going back to the assault class a lot of times, and every now and again, whenever I want to test my mettle, I try out the specialist, which is the more sniper class. The classes are back, people, and the classes are back in a good force, I would say. There's not much that I can complain about whenever it comes to them. They have the basic classes that you need. You got the assault, you got the heavy, you got the engineer, or the leader of the leader class or whatever. I don't remember what it's called. And then you got the specialist, which is the sniper. Everything that you kind of need there is all there. And then as you go along, when you gain enough battle points, like I said, hey, guess what? You get to get a cooler character of sorts, whether it be another trooper, whether it be like a Wookiee, because Wookiees are special classes. They're not just something that you can just hop on and play as now. They're special classes, and they're pretty powerful. Their crossbow charges up, and then if you aim it by pressing the left trigger, you get to consolidate where the blaster bolts go, because normally they're like 5 shots vertically, which is just like the original Battlefront, if you remember right. But yeah, and then you can also get a hero. Like, I got destroyed by Darth Maul many times, and then the one time that I got to play as Darth Maul, I did not do so well. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to talk about it. And then I tried Boba Fett, and I don't want to talk about that either. But when you get to play these heroes, it's so fulfilling and so rewarding, and it's actually really, really exciting. The good transition to the hero side of things. I suck, but they are so good if you use them well. And I remember the guy who got Darth Maul. Now, here's the thing. You might want to think, oh yeah, they're already overpowered just because they're heroes and Darth Maul is so bad, tough, strong. But they're really not the case. You can definitely die as the hero. What's cool is that you have, your life comes back as the hero, but you definitely aren't going to have it easy if you're playing the hero. And that's a good thing. I like that because it gives everyone a chance to be the hero. If you're good, you can keep playing, but if you die, somebody else has the chance to pick up the mantle, and they can definitely turn the tide of battle. Next, we're going to talk about space battles. Now, space battles are kind of difficult to try out at first. I mean, at least for me. And again, it's probably just me in that I stink. But space battles are a lot of fun once you start getting used to it. Once you start getting used to it, I should say. Pretty much the way that it works is when you get in there, the controls are a little touchy. I'll say it like that. They're not bad controls. They actually feel really good, and I love the combat system as you're flying around. Yeah, if you're a better gamer, this might be a little bit of a handicap for you. But if you're just, like, again, a casual person, you have a nice little circle that is leading you where you need to aim at when you're doing these space battles so that you can hit the targets a lot easier. Now, if you think about it, it's kind of lore friendly because in Star Wars, you have target assist and things like that because it's freaking, futuristic technology that we don't have nowadays, even though it says it's a long, long time ago. But no, it works out very, very well in my opinion, because you can get in there. Once you start getting the hang of things, you can take out a couple ships, and the priority isn't just destroying ships. The priority is playing the objective, and I think that's really what EA, or at least DICE, decided that they wanted to do with this game, is make you play the objective, not running around like a crazy chicken with your head cut off, but playing the objective, knocking out the goals, and defending whenever you're trying to resist an attack. And they did a really, really good job at putting the emphasis on that. And the defending has a lot to do with the space battles that they have at least available now. There is a space battle over Fondor, I want to say it is, where you have to defend a shield-generating ship, a shield-generating ship from being destroyed so that the rebels can't go in and destroy the actual ship. And you have to fight off waves, and by waves I mean you have to fight off rounds of bomber ships that are coming in to try to destroy the shield generating portions of the ship, and it's just a lot of fun to try to defend that and to try to withstand the rebel assault. And if you're the rebels, it's just exhilarating to try to get in there, bob and weave your way through obstacles, and they really did a good job at that. Let me tell you what, the little areas that you gotta bob and weave through, it feels like you're flying through a Star Wars movie action scene. And they just did a really, really good job at making you have to really navigate through tight corners with these ships that are going so fast, and also trying to destroy the things that you're aiming at destroying. That's just, I thought, was just such a nice touch and such a really cool idea. And so that kind of leads into the next part here, intros and outros. Nice touch, DICE. I mean, seriously, whenever you get into a game, like my favorite moment so far is when you get there on the planet Naboo, and you're trying to escort the MTT tank to the palace front and blow it up. But at the beginning, you have a bunch of clones that are taken as prisoner on their knees with their hands behind their head, and you're running past them, and as soon as you start, blaster fires going down this corridor or this long pathway where the MTT has to go down, and it's just, you're not hitting anything, nobody's hitting anybody, maybe a couple shots nail somebody, but for the most part you're just blasting it past people, and it's just awesome because you have this amazing firefight and the blasters going back and forth, and it just looks so cool. And at the end of the space battle, or even at the end of the normal MTT battle, you get an ending cinematic as well. And it just makes you immersed in what you're doing there. Now, when you're playing Rey versus Darth Maul, or when you're playing Boba Fett versus Rey, which I guess can technically happen canonically, it kind of breaks the immersion ever so slightly, but that's not the point. The point is to get in there, have these fantasy Star Wars battles that you've been dreaming of for years, and go in there and just have a good time. And they do that very, very well, and they get you pumped up before the battle, and then they like make you feel either really, really awesome, or like you really failed the Empire, or you really failed the Republic, or something like that. It's so neat and so cool that they did that. And I really, really appreciate all the little details that they threw in there when it comes to, and we'll get into this here in the point number 2 that's coming up in a minute, but the little details of the game design and how they really made things feel like it's Star Wars. Next, we're going to talk about star cards. We're not going to spend too much time on this one because it's not something that I completely understand 100%. I have a good idea, but the point is that I like how they're done this time around better than they were before. Before, they were kind of tacky. They didn't look very nice with the way that the system was because there was no class system. It was just, they were there. Those were your power-up or your boosts or whatever, and it was what it was. I like the way that they are done now. I like the way that they are integrated as simple boosts or not necessarily brand new abilities. Some of them I think are and can be flip-flop between classes, even though I think a lot of them are class specific. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I like the way that they are just more of, you know what, we're going to lower down the cool times if you have this star card because you earned this, or we're going to make this grenade a better grenade or something like that. And you earn these star cards just simply by playing the game. You can buy them. We're not going to really talk about the whole microtransaction deal. It's not worth talking about. It's been hammered to death. I don't like microtransactions. It doesn't not fit so bad in this game just because of the way the game is made and how it has an emphasis on multiplayer versus maybe like Shadow of War that has the microtransactions in there, which is a big old controversy in and of itself, which is not what this video is about. But I like how the star cards are integrated, and they seem to be they seem to do a good job at what they're meant to do. I like them quite a bit. Moving on, we're going to go now to servers. I mean, it's just the beta. They probably have dedicated servers that are able to handle this kind of workload. I'm not really techie, so I don't know the ins and outs of servers, but everything seems to be running well. I've never really experienced lag. I had one time where I shot across the screen, actually backwards, and that was just about it. I haven't really experienced much lag other than that. Again, everything that I just mentioned is as of right now, and what this beta is offering at the time being. Things could change. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. But as of right now, things seem to be running really well. Next, we're going to talk about the game's feel and design. Going to make a couple of points about a few things like balance, gameplay, and just what it looks like and what it sounds like, and kind of go from there. But let's start off with balance. I think that was first on my list. It seems to be fairly balanced. I felt as though the droids at first had the upper hand in Galactic Assault. That when I finally got to play as the clones and we stomped the droids, that kind of changed. Now, mostly my teammates did all the hard work, but I tried my best to play as a team as the game intended, and I didn't do too bad. We stopped them before they could actually fire the cannons on the MTT, and before I had played about 2 or 3 matches. Before I was able to get as the clones, I would play 2 or 3 matches as the droids, and we pretty much made it all the way through. Now, the games didn't end very fast. The games took a long time because the clones really resisted, but after a while, we overcame them. Now, it may have, more than likely, it was just on my team, or the guys on my team, and the whole team as a general that did the good job that made us win the games about 3 times, 4 times in a row. And so when we switched sides, we were able to play as the clones, and we stopped the MTT before it even got close. Well, okay, I won't lie, it got kind of close. It was actually quite interesting how it went down. Okay, so we didn't stomp on the droids. I may have been over blowing it up a little bit, but we did a pretty cool job because we stopped them before they actually got their cannons off. We worked really, really hard as a team to defend each other when we grabbed the ion cannons, and we just laid into them with our blasters. I played as the heavy class, so I just did my right bumper, left bumper ability and just laid into them with my Gatling gun. It was awesome. And we were able to stop it just before they were ready to fire off the cannons. It was a truly epic moment, and we had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, I didn't talk to anybody else, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was pretty exhilarating. I, however, cannot speak fully on the Starfighter Assault mode because I haven't played the Empire side of things yet. And by the Empire, I mean the Rebel side of things, I'm sorry. I don't believe I lost a battle as the Empire yet, but I've only played as the Empire. I don't know how things actually look for the Rebel side of things, and I haven't lost a battle, but they did give us a run for our money. Got to the point where a couple of destroyers were, a couple of the shield generators were still up and running, but they were about to be destroyed, and we were able to brave the attacks from the enemy, and it wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but they at least gave us a run for our money. However, I'm not sure how balanced things are on the Starfighter Assault side of things, but as the Empire, it's a heck of a lot of fun playing as a what are they called? I feel so lame right now. Oh, never mind. I can't remember the name of the ships. But anyways, the one with the flat sides in the middle. I cannot believe I am forgetting the name of them. But anyways, they're fun to play. They're more of the quote-unquote assault class of the group, but they're really cool. And then also you have more of a faster one that shoots off a lot faster bullets, I believe, or lasers. And that was a lot of fun using them as well. I never used the bomber. I didn't really feel like there was much of a point of the bomber, which you have the bomber for the beginning of the game mode where you are trying to destroy the rebel ships that have come in through space. And the ending to that game mode when you beat it is whenever you have a Star Destroyer coming in from hyperspace and stopping while running into an Imperial or a rebel ship and blowing it up. And it is so, so cool. And you feel like such an awesome, amazing person by the end of it. They did play the new mode, or the third mode, which was Strike. That one was a lot of fun, and that one's a little tough defending, as the rebels, tough trying to be the First Order, and you have to take the artifact from point A to point B, and the rebels are pretty much trying to mow you down before you can get to it. That mode was a lot of fun. It's really tense and exhilarating, and I haven't won one of those as the First Order yet. I've only played a couple of matches, but it was a lot of fun, and it was exhilarating getting almost to the end. It was an overtime, and we just needed to pick it up one more time and try to inch it along, but we just couldn't do it. That mode was fun. It seems to be pretty balanced, and by balance, actually, I think it's more in the favor of the Rebels. I think it's supposed to be more of a challenge for the First Order anyways. But it was a really, really fun game. All three game modes are actually a lot of fun. I tell you what, it's a lot of fun. I was terrible at the Starfighters at first when it came to playing Galactic Assault, but it was a heck of a lot of fun to play out on the ground. And then when I actually played Starfighter Assault, man, was that a lot of fun too. Moving on, we're going to talk about gameplay next and how actually the game feels. I would sum up the gameplay as simply this: smooth, crisp, and clean. I got killed because I sucked. I got kills because I did well. And then when you play as a team, you become a major challenge for the other team. None of this run and gun stuff. You have to play as a team, and it is designed very well. And specifically what I mean by gameplay is, how does the game feel? Is it clunky? Is it hard to get a hold of? Does the game inhibit your ability to play well because of the way that the game is made? I don't feel that that's the case at all when it comes to the gameplay. Everything felt very well done. Everything felt like they tested it very well, at least for what's in the beta. And they didn't screw anything up really bad. I never ran into any crazy glitches. I never ran into any difficult sections because of the way that the game was designed. So, not to be a dead horse, but the gameplay was very, very well done. Next, we're going to talk about star cards and the leveling up. Seems to be really refined. You get some sort of crate after you play a while, though. This is, I think, part of the level up experience, and also to try to get you to get microtransactions. But I think you get these as you progress. You get new weapons, star cards, and I guess poses of some sort. I could be wrong. But I love how the star cards work now. Like I said there before, it's a lot better done in my opinion. They also, as of now, don't seem to be a pay-to-play or give anyone a major advantage type of system. Weapons are easily replaced for the better ones when you get new ones, and I don't know much about the weapons, but been focusing mainly about the gameplay. But whenever I got a couple of I got a new pistol, I got a new rifle, I exchanged them out because statistically they were better, and I feel like I did a little bit better. Again, nothing major, nothing that put me over the edge, but there's a couple of times where I survived an encounter not because of my expert abilities, but I think it was because of the star cards, to be honest with you, because it definitely helped me out in those type of situations. But all in all, I like the star cards. I like the leveling up. It's really well done. Next, we're going to talk about the game's graphics. And my goodness, one word: beautiful. Oh my goodness, beautiful describes this game so perfectly. And the attention to detail. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. I'll try not to rehash the same point over and over again, but this game, they took some time on these graphics, and I think that they just were able to have a good starting point from the first game, to be honest with you, because the first game was done amazingly as well, graphically speaking. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And this game doesn't disappoint in the graphic department. Everything makes it look crisp and clean, and also sometimes it looks so realistic you think that it's an actual picture of some sort. I mean, the droids were just done so amazing looking. They didn't look any different from the movies. In fact, they look better than the movies, in my opinion. You got the clone troopers, you got the rebel soldiers, you got the and by rebel soldiers I mean the resistance soldiers. The heroes are just, they look so good, although Han Solo's face looks a little weird to me, but I'm not going to cry about it. Everything is just designed so well, and I can go on and on about how crisp and clean the graphics look as well, but they're absolutely gorgeous. Easily a 10 out of 10 on the graphics. And then the sound, and I'm going to be a little weird sounding here, I'm sure, but the sound was tear-jerking at times. The sound was designed so perfectly. I feel like I'm actually in an episode of Star Wars with how immersed I am at times. Like I said earlier, until Rey meets Darth Maul and young Han Solo's on Naboo. Not young Han Solo, but Han Solo's on Naboo. Then my immersion is pretty much shot. But it's still awesome nonetheless, and I get geeked out on whenever I see these matches come into play, and they're just so cool. And when I heard the clones speak for the first time, and I realized that it was the guy who did the voice for the clones in the TV show, I'm not gonna lie, I got a bit emotional. It was just so cool that they cared that much. They gave a darn. They gave a darn about the sound. They gave a darn about the graphics. They even made the guy look like, the clones look like the guy from the actual movies and everything. And they just, attention to detail is what I like to describe this beta so far, is attention to detail. And it is just so gorgeous, and it sounds so good. And when I heard, again, the droids and the clones both speaking, and they're the same guys from the Clone Wars, which I got attached to that show, I tell you what. And the clones I got attached to as well. And it was just, again, I'm going to give it easily a 10 out of 10 for both graphics and sound. But sound, man, they really knocked it out of the park. And some of the voices, of course, they didn't get, though. I don't think that they got the original guy who played Darth Maul. They definitely didn't get Han Solo, I don't believe. They may have gotten the guy who played Boba Fett, but all in all, fantastic. And I don't think I'm missing anything, but if I was to be missing something, I guess load times? They're not bad. The load times are actually pretty quick for the most part, except for whenever you're initially booting up the game. That takes a little time, but once you're in it, it doesn't seem to be taking that long. It's actually quite good, and it's definitely not a Bethesda game when it comes to load times, I can tell you that much. All in all, I want to give my final general thought. If this beta and demo is an accurate representation of the rest of the game that we are going to get in November, then we are in for a treat. I tell you what, we are in for a treat. I feel this game was handled very well, with care and love, and most importantly of all, respect to the fans of all eras. Except the KOTOR days. Come on, Disney, get your act together on that. Come on. But anyways, I found myself craving to play just one more match, then just one more after that. I had a big smile on my face the whole time. I'm not a great reviewer. I'll be totally upfront and honest about that, and I'm sure not too many people are going to see this in general, but I didn't throw out much bad because I simply didn't notice anything, or I didn't notice much at all. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, at least. Maybe why is everything on the main menu so blue? I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too blue. Personally, I'm a fan of green. But overall, so far, I've had a fantastic experience. I'm super excited for the full game. Now, I will not buy it day one or pre-order the game because I need to know what's in the game first. But once the reviews come out and I see what the deal is and see how people like maybe an Angry Joe or a Boogie2988 or Mr. Matty Plays, and I am dropping some names out there because these guys are awesome reviewers and they really give it to you straight. Once I see how things are with them, you know what? I'll pick up a copy and I'll play the crap out of it for the next foreseeable future, for the next few years, or however long it is until there's another one. Which I hope that this game, it should be able to last quite a long time, I think. And I'm going to be sure to snag it up as long as the game holds up to what I think everyone is expecting now. EA, DICE, you guys have really gave yourself a high standard to follow up on. So I'm really hoping that this game is what everyone expects it to be. I truly do. And honestly, I really have a good feeling about this game. I don't think that it is going to be one that is going to drop the ball in the end. I don't think it's going to be one that we've seen the best of it, and now it's just going to go downhill from here. I think we're just going to get more maps, we're going to get more things to do, and we're going to have an amazing experience. And I am not one to throw this type of talk out to EA. I don't trust EA. I don't trust most big-name companies like Bethesda or Ubisoft or Activision anymore. Not that they've all done absolutely atrocious, horrible things. I just don't trust big companies anymore. However, with everything that I've seen so far, I've honestly felt like they've taken a lot of care, and most of all, they've respected us. I think that was the biggest issue with the last game, and possibly for a lot of other games and other companies that other companies are making, is that they're not respecting the fans. Bethesda is a perfect example of this with their Creation Club fiasco. I mean, I'm not going to get into that right now, but that is a perfect example of a complete disrespect on how to treat your fans, I should say. And so far, I feel really respected as a Star Wars fan, and as a fan of Battlefront, and I feel like many people are going to feel that way as well. Again, we'll see if the game holds up, but so far, I'm very, very optimistic. Well, what are your thoughts? If you're out there and you're watching this video in the deep YouTube space, drop a like, drop a comment, drop something down there letting me know that you've seen this video and that you have a thought. And I'd love to hear back from you. Take any of my points, combat any of my points, whatever you like to do. I don't care, not a big deal for me. But go ahead and drop something down there. I want to hear your opinion about it because, again, this channel is supposed to be a channel where we have some sort of community where we can talk together, open our opinions up, and see what comes out and maybe get some cool idea from somebody else. So yeah, drop something down there. Let me know what you think. All in all, again, I'm excited. I do want to bid you all a fond farewell. I want to say God bless you and have a great evening. Ta-ta.